Okay, I promised you yesterday that I was going to be speaking of the stories and in order this time. So, last night, I did Training Hikaru for Birth by Sleep, the very first story that I should have been starting and I didn't. So, next story I'm going to be talking about in detail is like the full bio for Kingdom Hearts, the start of our friendship. As we all know, like the start of Kingdom Hearts is where Sora, Riku, and Kairi are on the Play Islands, on Destiny Islands, and they're building a raft to get off. But what they didn't expect in the story is the fact that Hikaru is there at the age of 7, as I had explained in the previous one. She was 7 when she appeared on Destiny Island. She became very good friends with Sora and Riku and Kairi, but she wanted to get to know the real Sora and the real Riku and the real Kairi. And the only person she really got to know full on about was Kairi and her crush on Sora. Well, crush on Sora and Riku. So she's actually... I love Kairi and all, but honestly, I don't know how that would even turn out for her. Basically the start of our friendship, they're 14 and 15 years old. It's her, Sora, and Kairi that are 14, and Riku is 15. Obviously Riku's gonna be the older one in the group, because it would seem like Terra too, to a lot of other people. Riku starts noticing in Hikaru just things that she never picked up. She didn't know that she was gonna she didn't know much about Sora, but like she started hanging out with him more. And when Sora would be at home, she would hang out with Riku. She mainly hangs out with the guys. She rarely hangs out with Kairi anymore, so she's wanting to make more friends. She gets the same idea as Riku wanting to get off the island. But all 4 of them want to get off the island and go out and go visit all the worlds out there. And they know there are other worlds because they have this feeling there are a lot more than just what they're on. And Hikaru actually explained to them that the way Terra had explained to her, she didn't remember who said it, but she told them what she had remembered back in the past, even though it was something that's not supposed to be remembered. She did remember that because she had a feeling there were other worlds out there. So whenever they're outside, when she stayed the night with Sora, they looked up at the stars, and Sora's wondering if there are any other worlds out there, just like Ventus did. And she said every star up there is another world. There's so much out there besides our own. And she told them to light as their hearts and shine down on all of us like a million lanterns. And Sora actually found that pretty interesting, even though guaranteed he couldn't understand it much. But she told them what Terra had taught her. And she found that, and Sora actually did like that idea. When the stars started showing up when they were on the Play Island still, she told the same thing to Riku and Kairi. And Kairi thought it was the sweetest thing, and Riku thought it sounded a little familiar because half of them was probably thinking, why does that sound so familiar to me? Little did he even remember that Terra was the one that gave him the Keyblade ceremony, so in a way he was connected to Terra. So it definitely sounded familiar, like something that he had said in the past, and he couldn't remember. But when that night, when Riku opened the door to darkness, and swallowing up Destiny Islands, and him disappearing, obviously, Sora and Hikaru both head out to the islands, to the Play Islands, and wondering what the heck Riku's doing there, wondering why he's there. And Riku tells them the door's open, they can leave the island, they may not see their parents again. But Hikaru's the only one that actually didn't really take that into heart, just take that part into heart, because she had no parents. She knew that much. She had no parents. Even though the mayor probably could have adopted her and Kairi, he only adopted Kairi. And if you guys have probably read on fanfiction.net some of the stories, like some of the Riku fanfictions, where what's her name? I'm trying to remember. Haruka, wherein Haruka is has this huge crush on Riku, but Riku and Sora are fighting for Kairi's attention, and she starts feeling a little left out. And Riku would explain to her later that all the things happening, and she would tell them that she was jealous of Kairi because she was getting all the attention from them, and she wanted to be with her friends too, and it would seem like she wasn't allowed to. But anyway, back to the start of our friendship. As soon as Riku leaves the islands, Hikaru and Sora go to the secret cave, and they see Kairi there. And like, she's like in this daze, and they don't know what the heck is going on with her. She passes right through them. Like, they're both like holding their arms out for Kairi, and she literally passes right through them. And her heart ends up in them both. They don't know it, but her heart ends up in them both. Because Kairi was Hikaru's first friend. Was her first female friend that she ever made on the islands. And Sora and Riku were the first guy friends that she ever had. But once the island was swallowed up by the darkness, they were trying to get their way out. Sora and Hikaru were trying to get their way out. They had to fight Darkseid, but as soon as they finished off Darkseid with their Keyblades, at that point she still had she and Sora both got the Kingdom Key, because her combination, like I explained, her combination Keyblade that she had of Ventus's, Aqua's, and Terra's Keyblades in the past was only a one-time Keyblade for her, so it's only to train her. And she was trained well enough with the Unversed, but she didn't know anything about Heartless until she had been in Radiant Garden. And so she traveled everywhere with them. They wound up in, of course, we all know that Sora wound up in Traverse Town after darkness swallowed up their home. And she was there with him. She was in another part of Traverse Town. She was more towards Sid's shop than anything else. And Sora was in the back alley. Poor Sora is separated from his new friend, but like, Sora always wanted to figure more things out about Hikaru so he could get to know her better, because actually it was the start of their journey where he started getting a crush on her, and he was the first one to get a crush on her. I know I said in my my first video when I was explaining these things, explaining the stories where they start getting feelings for each other in Castle Oblivion, and actually I take that back. Sora started getting feelings for her, but he hadn't recognized them until Castle Oblivion. He didn't notice until until their first journey together, ending up in Traverse Town. He started getting worried about her. He didn't know for what reason. He didn't know if it was because of being her friend or because it could have been something else. But they met up with each other at the inn. She was with Aerith, and of course, Sora was with Leon and Yuffie. I just want to irritate him now. Squall. He was with Squall and Yuffie. I just want to irritate Leon, so I'm just gonna call him Squall. He winds up asking Squall if he knew where Hikaru was, and Squall's like, Hikaru? What? Who? Because, of course, Squall doesn't know who she is. And it wasn't until he had gotten to when that soldier Heartless showed up that he saw the girl that Sora had been talking about. Squall's just like, what? Who are you? And she said she had no time to explain. And Sora was the one that shouted to him saying, that's her, that's Hikaru, that's Hikaru. And Leon and Squall's just like, why does she seem a little familiar? Why does she seem a little familiar? I mean, why do I have this feeling I've seen her before? Little did he know, like, buried deep within his mind, it's not going to awaken until later, but, they had met in Radiant Garden once. And he remembered just seeing the brown-haired, just regular dark-haired Hikaru, not dark and blue hair. Not dark brown hair with blue hair in it, in the front. He never saw her sister, so he doesn't know who she is. But, it would seem that Squall will later realize who she was. But, after teaming up again, she had teamed up with Sora of course, on Descians before it disappeared, to fight Darkseid, even though it's mainly Sora's Darkseid, but she had to fight it too because she was part of it. And, Sora and Hikaru both got trampled on. Well, I would say trampled, but they were, Donald and Goofy fell on them. And their Keyblades still in hand. They're just like, whoa, wait a minute here. The king only said to find one. Why are there two of them? And then they look at the letter again, and they realize there's another Keyblade wielder mentioned in there. Look for the boy and the girl with the key. And they did not pay attention to that. It was said in the main part of the letter, it said, look for the boy with the key. And it said also, like, P.S. After, like, telling them to tell Minnie, he said he had told them, there is also a girl with a key. I met her in the past. I know I have. Find her and take her with you because she's going to need to know about her past again. So it was only Donald and Goofy that knew Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. And obviously I don't think Donald and Goofy would ever forget, especially Ven, so they didn't know he was resting within Sora. So, in a way, Donald and Goofy asked if they wanted to come with them on their gummy ship. So, and of course we all know that when you ride the gummy ship with Donald and Goofy, you can't be sad. You gotta look funny like them. And they both had to pull off the silliest smiles ever to get them to laugh. I don't blame them. I would actually have a hard time trying to get those two to laugh. But considering the fact that I'm the more serious Hikaru over anything else, wouldn't expect that much. But what they did was, after agreeing to go with them, the first place to go, obviously, is Deep Jungle, where all the gorillas are, because I love Tarzan. I absolutely love Tarzan, so I would love to hang out in Deep Jungle a lot. And they have to go through all these worlds trying to find Riku and Kairi. And in Deep Jungle, they got separated again. Sora actually started talking more and more about Hikaru, trying to see if Tarzan had seen her. And obviously he hadn't seen her. So he goes on to tell Tarzan if he's seen Riku or Kairi, his friends, and Tarzan, unknowing to Sora, is actually saying friends are in the heart, and as we all learned at the end of that part of Deep Jungle, where Tarzan is telling him there, like, a specific word in gorilla talk would be heart. They're in the heart. Friends are in your hearts. And Sora's a little disappointed. But at least he was happy when they went to the tent to see Jane. That he saw Hikaru there, just talking with Jane, having a cup of tea, and just talking away about animals, about gorillas, and she was very interested in hearing about that. So, and Sora's just like, Hikaru! And she turns around, like she mentioned to Jane earlier that she was wanting to find Sora, her best friend. And she said, I don't know where he is, but I'm pretty sure he'll show up. And so he showed up, shouted Hikaru. She turned around, sees him. She gets this big smile on her face, like, Sora! Gets up, jumps on him with a freaking bear tight hug. And he's like, whoa! Calm down, and knocked him over. And after a while, like, Donald and Goofy show up too. But Sora and Donald weren't on the best of terms because Sora kind of crashed the gummy ship into the friggin' deep jungle, and Donald just wasn't happy about that. And obviously, Donald and Goofy found a piece of a gummy, and it was King Mickey's gummy. So King Mickey was probably there earlier, and Hikaru thought she heard that name before. So she wanted to dig deeper into her memory about it, but her memory being blank when she first appeared on Destiny Islands didn't exactly help her. But we all know the whole thing, like Sora and going through all the worlds. Hikaru has to go through them with him. So the second time they went to Traverse Town, they ran into Riku. And she kind of picked up something scary coming from Riku. As much as she didn't want to, she kind of picked that up. She still had that feeling ever since she was little, was the fact that when she first saw Riku, when she first went to Destiny Islands, she thought he was a nice guy. She sensed something in his heart that maybe she shouldn't have sensed, because she sensed that within Terra. So it could have been possible that Terra possibly passed down a bit of his darkness to Riku. But we don't know for sure, because even though Riku and Terra are kind of the same, kind of alike, within that aspect of wanting to protect your friends, obviously, Riku wanted to protect Sora, wanted to protect Kairi. He definitely wanted to protect Hikaru, because Hikaru was like a sister. He didn't understand why, but she was like a sister to him all the time. And he was very protective over her, just like Terra was over Hikaru when she was younger. Terra had even told Xehanort to leave her out of this, leave her alone. I don't want her getting hurt. But did Xehanort listen? No. But anyway, Sora and Hikaru wanted to bring Riku with them, and they couldn't, because Donald said no. We have to find the king. But obviously, Riku later being tricked by Maleficent about being replaced in both Hikaru's and Sora's hearts. She tricks him into thinking that they forgot about him and just replaced them with Donald and Goofy. And Sora had to manage in another world to tell him that they never forgot about him. They were looking everywhere for him. And so what had happened was when they met in Monstro, I know I'm skipping over worlds, but I really just want this explanation to be short because the last one was like almost 40 minutes long. Again, sorry about that. Well, sorry about that. Anyway, when they met up in Monstro to help Pinocchio and Geppetto out of there, they find out that Riku was on the wrong side. And Sora tells him that his conscience was telling him that Riku was on the wrong side of everything. And Hikaru actually managed to say that too. She said, "Riku, I had this feeling in my heart that you are not on the right side anymore. I have this feeling you're not, because I had this feeling with somebody else before." And she can't remember where it was. She can remember family, but she can remember her old friends, but she can't place the names, and she can't replace the names, and she can't remember her original home. So she kind of had to figure things out on her own almost. But they team up, all three of them team up to defeat the cage where Pinocchio was, the heartless cage that Pinocchio is trapped in. They team up together because it's the first time they fought together, I think, if I remember correctly. Honestly, like Hikaru, I don't like seeing my best friends fight. So fight together, fight on opposing sides. I hate that. So what happened was she had wanted to stop their fight, but she couldn't fight them, either one. She couldn't go against Sora, but she couldn't go against Riku either, because Sora reminded her of Ventus, and Riku reminded her of Terra. And if Terra and Ventus ever fought like that, she would be terrified. So, she literally had to sit back because she didn't know what to do. Sorry if this is sounding very familiar to stories that you've probably read already, but this is actually literally just what's coming on my mind. But she did wind up fighting Riku because she wanted to knock some sense into him, and nothing had knocked some sense into him at all. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So, Riku ran off. He wound up leaving Pinocchio as well, and Geppetto and Pinocchio got out of Monstro, and then Sora and Hikaru and Donald and Goofy continued going to other worlds. One of them being Hollow Bastion, and 100 Acre Wood is where actually Sora started. Well, Sora actually started getting the worried feeling in Traverse Town. He started getting a crush when they were in Deep Jungle. So it was kind of awkward for Sora because this is something new. He thought he always had this huge crush on Kairi, but apparently that crush on Kairi turned into more of like a familial love than just like wanting to be together with her. And it turned out that he just wanted to be with Hikaru, and he didn't realize that until, like I said, until Castle Oblivion. Anyway, they go through all the worlds trying to find Riku, and they can't find him, not even in Agrabah. And Sora told her at the I'm just gonna skip right to the end, I'm sorry, but there's like usually nothing interesting going on in other worlds other than really becoming very, very close friends. The closest of best of friends that Sora and Hikaru could get, and they promised each other they would go find Riku, and if he ever needed help, that they would both help him. But at the end of the journey, though, when they saved Kairi, we know that how nobody's are born is someone with a strong-willed heart, and they both had strong-willed hearts. So when they saved Kairi, they both turned into a Shadow Heartless, And they had nobodies born. But nobody knew that. And they were looking forward to going home. And they went to the end of the world together with Donald and Goofy. And Sora told her, before we fight Ansem, there's something I want to give you. I found this on the islands, I just never had the time to give it to you. And he had pulled out from his pouch the little stone necklace that he had found. It was dark blue, royal blue, almost black, and he gave it to her. But I don't want you to forget me. If you do wind up forgetting me, I don't want you to forget where this came from. It came from our home. And she promised she would not forget him, because it would kind of be hard to forget Sora because of his smile, because of everything of him. So she had just gone through with everything, and Sora told her that whatever happens, just don't forget. And she promised she wouldn't. It wasn't like her to forget, even though she lost memories of her home, her original home. It was hard for her to understand anything except for promises that can never be forgotten at all. She loved making promises, and she always kept her promises. With Ventus, with Terra, and with Aqua, she kept her promise that she would stay safe. And they all wanted that for her. She stayed safe until the end, where she felt like she let them down. They went off to fight Ansem, and she wasn't very happy about it because he also took on the appearance, he didn't just take over Riku, but he also took on the appearance of a darker Terra, and she did not like that. Something in her heart was telling her that it was his Heartless. It was Terra's Heartless. Terranor's Heartless. And she didn't know the name specifically, but she knew Xehanort, but she didn't want to bring him up anywhere, especially if she ran to King Mickey. So she had wandered off, and she and Sora had to fight him without the help of Donald and Goofy, so she was relying on her magic, like her sister Aqua, to help Sora out with everything. And what they did was, once they defeated 2 stages of Ansem, and they went to the Realm of Darkness, the other Realm of Darkness, more towards Kingdom Hearts, which people are still conflicting on what it would be for Kingdom Hearts. Either it's like a giant heart moon or whatever. It's a door of light, door of darkness, blah blah blah. It's not any of that, I don't think. I think it's actually just that blue moon in the sky, the blue heart-shaped moon in the sky. Now we'll stick with that answer. And anyway, they had to fight Ansem more than once, obviously. More than twice, actually. They had to fight his Heartless form, which is that giant ship-like thing. It's terrifying to look at that thing without having to fight it. Like they learned a lot on their journeys, like through Neverland and through everywhere. They learned a lot from their journeys that they had gone on from the journey. And they learned that friendship was more important than anything. So they had, when they teamed up against Ansem, and he was about to open that door, open Kingdom Hearts, he couldn't because he was thinking it was darkness, but it's not supreme darkness at all, is what he was saying. Fill me with darkness, supreme darkness. Sora said, no, now without a doubt, Kingdom Hearts is light. And he and Hikaru said that together. And I think Riku probably heard it from deep within Ansem that those two sounded perfect. Saying it together like that sounded perfect. But once they did that and Ansem Secret Darkness disappeared, as far as they know, they had went up to the door to close it, figuring out there's a bunch of Heartless on the other side of the door. And Sora can't close the door because the door is too heavy. And Hikaru's helping him push it and it's not helping. And they had to push it along with Riku, because Riku's saying, don't give up. Come on, Sora, we can close the door together. You, me, and Hikaru, let's do it. And Sora then agrees, and they keep trying. And there's more and more Heartless coming out. There's more and more Heartless sneaking up. And Mickey tells them that they can do it together. And it was before the door closed, like we all know, that Riku said to take care of Kairi. He told that to both Sora and Hikaru, take care of Kairi. And he said not only that, but Sora, take care of Hikaru. Take specific care of Hikaru. Because who knows what she will be going through in the future. And Sora said, I'm not going to forget that promise because I can't. My heart won't let me. And it was Ven in his heart that was actually explaining to him, do it, you have to take care of her. Take care of her for us. Take care of her for me. Because he considered Hikaru his little sister as well. So, in a way, she had adopted Ven as a brother. So by the time he wakes up, they would kind of be twins. Almost. Yeah, they would be twins. But, once the door closed, Kairi had given Sora and Hikaru the good luck charm, and Sora actually gave it to Hikaru to hang on to. But she said, no, I don't want to hang on to this. So before they left the end of the world and went down this path to find Riku and King Mickey, Sora, along the way, had given Hikaru the Wayfinder that Aqua had told him to give to her. And he said, I was told to give this to you. I don't remember by who, but that person told me to give this to you to keep you strong. And they said that you will have one of your own soon, so that's what they told me to tell you. He didn't know if it was a boy or a girl anymore because memory is always hazy. It's Riku's that's never hazy. But she said, thank you, Sora. I'll treasure it. And it was then that Sora saw like a glimpse of the future. It was then Sora saw the glimpse of the future that Hikaru had turned into, like, behind her would be her older self in the next year, 15 years old, with dark brown hair and blue in the front. Blue pieces in the front. But not only that, he saw behind her, seeing a blue-haired, blue-eyed girl who was just smiling, just watching the scene unfold, and he didn't know who it was. It was on the tip of his tongue, but he couldn't remember her name. But that's the end of the journey. That was the end of their first journey together. Sora had a newfound friendship, completed a newfound friendship with Hikaru. He had learned a lot about her, and he wound up getting this crush on her that he didn't expect to get. And in the next story, I will explain Hikaru's dual castle journey, where they go through Castle Oblivion. She goes through Castle Oblivion, both Sora and Riku. And it will explain further on the crush that Sora and Hikaru have on each other that only Riku picked up on. Later, guys!